Hello, my name is Pharmacist Michael, and today we are going to talk about turning crisis into purpose. Well, I think we can all agree that there's a lot going on in the world. We, of course, all have outside pressures and concerns that can seem overwhelming. In addition to our normal life, which comes with its own struggles, we will all have to endure times of crisis, whether it's on a personal or community level. So today, we're going to talk about something that really impacts all of us at one point or another, and that is how to find purpose in times of crisis. Sometimes it's a daily struggle. Other times, it's a critical point when something unforeseen happens to us. But whatever the situation is, there are tools and a process that can help us to manage the crisis and to eventually find purpose in the process. If we are able to turn a crisis into a purpose, it becomes a transformative process which allows us to grow and makes meaningful changes in our life. Together, we are going to explore the concept of transforming these crises into purpose by examining many things. The foundations of resilience, which, as we all know, is extremely important to have to keep going. It's what gives us fuel when we are exhausted and just want to give up. Other aspects we are going to look at are the role of support systems, the importance of purpose in our lives, and the practical strategies for navigating through the crisis. We will conclude with a couple of real-life examples that will show how crisis can transform individuals as well as communities. The first thing I want to talk with everyone about is resilience. We've all known people who somehow seem to have the ability to bounce back from adversity. So, why is that? Where does that strength come from? Some of us are more resilient than others. We may say, well, they're just stronger people. But what does that mean? A lot of it begins with a decision, and that means a decision to have a positive attitude. This is not just a cliche saying. This is the ability to take a situation and somewhat remove yourself from it, to step back, and to be able to make a conscious decision that you are going to try and find something positive in the situation. With a positive attitude, you open up the possibility of finding a purpose in the process. You might ask yourself, what would be an impossible situation where I could do this? It could be a number of things. Let's just come up with an example. Perhaps you have a sick child in the hospital. For all of us parents, we know what a gut-wrenching experience this can be. So you can take this experience and jump to the mindset that this experience doesn't offer anything positive. Of course, you have a sick child, and all you want is for your child to be healthy again. But you have a choice to make. You can walk into that hospital and feel angry and resentful that it's happening to your child, helpless or fearful. These are all normal and justifiable feelings. Or you could make that choice to find whatever you can that is positive in the experience. Perhaps you are able to appreciate the knowledge and care of the doctors and nurses. You may appreciate someone who comes by just to check on your child, to see how he or she is doing. Perhaps you are able to connect with your child on a level never before possible. Perhaps you're able to slow down and realize the importance of the simple things in life. Perhaps you're just thankful to have health insurance and the ability to help your child. Experts will often say that having a positive attitude can actually help heal your body. This is just an example of a crisis where a positive attitude can make all the difference. In being positive, you have found the purpose to help manage the situation where you and your child can receive some benefit. Now that's a great purpose to have. So many people are going through difficult times in their lives. It's very important during these times that we are able to regulate our emotions and have the capacity to look at ourselves and be able to get feedback on what we need to improve. It's easy to blame others for our own problems, It's much more difficult for us to look at our own shortcomings and to figure out a way to overcome those. But when we do this, that is what helps build our resilience. That is where the positive attitude comes in, because we refuse to give up and we look at the opportunities to grow. We realize that our failures are just stepping stones to our success. Research done by Carol Dweck on growth mindset highlights the importance of embracing challenges persisting in the face of setbacks, as we've mentioned, and seeing that our effort is a path to mastery. It's important to learn from criticism. People may be wrong, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some truth in what they are saying to us. It can only help us to be better and to have more to offer others when we can find lessons in the crisis that we are faced with in our lives. When we do this, we develop an inner strength, and what we thought was a failure or what we thought was an insurmountable obstacle becomes a success for us to launch later on. The role of a support system is critical for all of us. These can be very different for different people. Sometimes it might be family or friends. It could also be an organization that we belong to, a professional network. It could be counseling or a group that we belong to with others that have a shared interest. Whatever the system is, it is critical to have a support system of some kind. Not only will it give us the ability to refuel and strengthen our resilience, but it will allow us the opportunity to learn from others. We obviously tend to see things through our own perspective, but when you can share your vulnerabilities with others and you bring them into a place where they can be helpful, very often their perspectives can give you the exact strength and clarity you need to make it through a situation. You may be saying to yourself, I don't really have any support systems in my life right now. It's not too late to find one. Maybe you're unable to find support in your family or friendships, but if you reach out, you will find good people everywhere. So maybe you start with a hobby. Maybe it's a book group or a Bible study. Maybe it's spending time with your grandkids or having people over for dinner. Whatever it may be for you, think about what you find nourishing for your soul. Once you are able to give to others, you find that you have a support system around you. The importance of having a purpose in life cannot be overstated. Having a clear sense of purpose is absolutely essential to navigating through a crisis. It gives you direction. It helps you prioritize and gives you a sense of meaning, which can be the motivation to do things in your crisis that you wouldn't normally do. It may be a much harder path. It could mean working longer hours or sacrificing something that you want, such as your time or money. But when you have a purpose, you have a clear direction. This direction not only gives you the strength to achieve your goals, but also provides strength for others. It is something that you can draw on during times of crisis. Viktor Frankl, in his seminar work, Man's Search for Meaning, emphasizes the significance of finding purpose in life, especially in the most difficult circumstances. He argues that those who can find meaning in suffering are much more resilient and capable of overcoming it. There are some practical strategies for turning crisis into purpose. First, let's begin with self-reflection. Self-reflection is something that is extremely valuable, but not enough of us do it, at least not as often as we need to. Ask yourself what truly matters to you. Could you have handled the situation better? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? When you do this, you are aligning yourself with your purpose. The more often that you're able to reflect on yourself and to look at both your strengths and weaknesses, you will have a much more clear picture of what you need to develop to get where you want to go. The more often that you're able to reflect on yourself and to look at both your strengths and weaknesses, the more often you will have a much clearer picture of what you need to develop to get to where you want to go. Another important aspect of turning a crisis into a purpose is writing goals down and breaking down your purpose into achievable goals so they become manageable. If you get small, manageable goals, you will feel successful going forward. Also, accept that you're going to make mistakes. There are going to be setbacks. If you need to readjust your goals, there's nothing wrong with that. Just remember what the end result is, and little by little, you'll get there. Another strategy is learning and growth. Too often we get comfortable with doing things the way we've always done them. But in a crisis situation, we often have to look outside of ourselves and our own experiences to develop new skills or knowledge that can help us move closer to our purpose. Sometimes a crisis might seem out of control, but remember, knowledge is power. So the more you learn about something, the more prepared you are and the less stress you will have. Take the little steps that you need to, whether it's reading a book, taking a class, seeking the advice of an expert, whatever it is that can help you take advantage of that. It's also important to be flexible in your plans. A lot of times people will make goals and stick to them rigidly. If they don't make the goal, they feel a sense of failure. If you look back at where you started, even if you have a setback, you're probably further along than you give yourself credit for. Keeping a journal is a great way to see this growth. It's important to realize that life is constantly changing. Your situation is constantly changing, and your ideas and goals often need to change too. Seeking support is always very important. We were meant to work together, live together, and love one another. So if you need professional help, seek that. And if you have close family and friends, lean on them. Listen to what others have to say and use it as a base of knowledge to work from. Some real-world examples of people who have turned crisis into opportunity would be J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, who experienced a period of deep personal crisis before finding her purpose in writing. She was facing single parenthood and financial struggles. She used her passion for storytelling to create one of the most beloved series in literature, transforming her personal crisis to a purpose that has inspired millions. Another example would be the town of Greensburg, Kansas, which was almost completely destroyed by a tornado in 2007. Instead of merely rebuilding the community, they decided to transform it into a model of sustainable living. This is an example of how community comes together and can turn a crisis into a purpose. I have no doubt that all of us will face different crises in our lives, and we will have the opportunity to turn them into a purpose. It's very important that in the midst of the crisis, we look outside of the situation and realize that if we can work through this with resilience, support, purpose, and some strategies, we will become stronger, and the crisis will serve as an instrument, which will make our life much more meaningful and transformative, not only to ourselves, but to others as well. If you've enjoyed this video or learned something from it, please give it a thumbs up. If you know someone who might benefit from this video, please send it to them. If you want more information on happy, healthy living, please subscribe to our channel. We release a new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:00 a.m. Eastern Time. My name is Pharmacist Michael. Be happy and be healthy.